Well, this is the River Derwent as it passes through Baslow, and this is the start of our second section of the Derwent Valley Trail. We're walking up past Baslow House, nice looking building. This one's labelled the Wesleyan Methodist Sunday School 1822, and then above the door Baslow Methodist Church, and behind me, as you can probably hear, is a school playground. And there is the school, the primary school, passing some pretty little thatched cottages. Suddenly the path is full of walkers, but this is leading down towards Chatsworth House, so that'll be why it's so popular. We're entering through one of these rotating gates, very unusual. It tells me here this is the Cannon Kissing Gate, but I'm on my own, so I'm out of luck today. And that gate signalled our entrance into the Chatsworth Park. Immediately we can see acres of open parkland with the trees. And you see the trees are all cut off at a certain level above the ground, and this is where the deer reach up and eat everything they can reach with their height, and so the trees have this nice trimmed look some distance above the ground. This is our first views of Chatsworth House, and you can see how popular it is by the queues of cars waiting to go in. The Derwent River is meandering through the estate. This is the bridge over the Derwent, which brings the traffic into the Chatsworth estate. You can probably see a lot of cars traversing it now. Well, this is Chatsworth House, one of the biggest attractions in the UK. It is the home of the Devonshires, the Dukes of Devonshire, and has been for 13-14 generations. Their surname is actually Cavendish, and they're probably the richest people in the country. They have inherited large chunks of prime estate in London, Belgravia, Mayfair area, I believe. The Devonshire family still use it as one of their homes, although I believe the main part is now owned by a trust. The house is open, 35 of its rooms are open or thereabouts out of 135. So the Cavendishes are having to squeeze into the remaining 100 rooms which are not open to the general public. Well, whatever your thoughts are about large parts of our country being handed down, inherited, this estate is largely open to the public. You can wander through these wonderful grounds, and it is a very picturesque spot. Just a final view of Chatsworth House and the Derwent River, which is what we are following in the foreground. We're actually only 2¼ miles from the start in Baslow, and it's a perfect day for walking. For the past mile or so we've been following these paths through meadows, fields, rivers just behind the trees. Now we've turned off and we're following a woodland path. We've clocked up 4¼ miles from the start. Where there's a break in the trees, we can get a glimpse of the river. You see at this point it seems to be barely moving. At the 5-mile mark, we pass through the small village of Roseley. It does have its own post office and general store. Could make a good stop for refreshments. From the bridge in Roseley, we get a better view of the Derwent River. Well, we're coming up to the 6-mile mark. We've been through Roseley, and it was very poorly signposted, the path, and the map wasn't much used either. But eventually we found the path out the other side of Roseley, and we're on it, and it's straightforward, and now we're heading to Matlock. At 7½ miles we come to the Peak Railway, a heritage railway, and this is Church Lane Crossing. We're passing the parish church in Darley. I would show you a little more of this church, but there's actually a funeral service going on this afternoon, so that's as far as we can take it. But there's certainly a sizable churchyard here and worth exploring at another time. One of the first tombs, graves, that we come to is this magnificent family tomb with the iron railings around it, and this is for the great Sir Joseph Whitworth and his family. Sir Joseph Whitworth was one of the great engineers, one of the pioneers of the Industrial Revolution, and he's buried here in Darley in Derbyshire. Guarding my path is this friendly looking character, and over here is his colleague. Passing the cricket pitch at Darley, getting it ready for the weekend's games. At 8½ miles we're passing the Square and Compass pub. The square and compass, of course, are the symbols of the Masons. You can see it here, the symbol itself above the door. And we're back with the River Derwent again. We're back now walking alongside the river on these green fields. Just down on our left, through the trees, is the Derwent. Well, I've arrived in the town of Matlock. That was 10½ miles from where we started. Pretty easy going, flat walking beside the river most of the way. Lack of signage in places, but a good walk. So I'm going to leave you on this section of the Derwent Valley Trail, and I'll see you the next time.